Perfect timing. The Scion races have had some huge updates as of late, which means another tournament is exactly what the doctor ordered. For example, I think this game is actually the first time I've been able to show the new look Genetron. Check this out. The worker thinks he's a probe. He drops the processing node and goes right back to mining. That's right, Genetron buildings now 3D print themselves. And the new graphics are outrageously good. Hopefully you don't waste half the cast just staring at them. I mean, I still dig the Keiron pudding pop, but it just doesn't compare anymore. Now, a number of the Genetron buildings have gone up in price, and that's to offset what's probably the amount of money that's been saved by the new building method. Oh, and the filtering plant, aka the gas getter, has a new look as well. That is also very cool. Oh, I see our Genetron player is scouting. Let's sneak in our first intro. Our Keiron player is a cross between Newt Gunray and a Star Wars robot. He is Viceroy! Viceroid's gonna have his hands full because after the last tournament, his opponent, Jotak, has become something of a household name. He's definitely been taking names on the Scion scene. He's also looking to take an expansion, but he's gonna get beat on that score by Viceroid. That's what they say, first player to start their expansion wins. What? They don't say that? Oh my god, look at that graphic. So much detail in that processing core. But we gotta get something straight here, people. That tack ain't mine. That'd be Jotak! Oh, we got a potential first blood here. Viceroid shaped in a volt, and it's going after that scout. He is down to 5 hit points. One shot'll do it. Jotak is about to finish his first Spitfire, but it is a long ways away to help. We are playing on the map Pride of Alteris. It's a big one. It takes 40 seconds to march across that map. But for now, Viceroid has given up the chase. He is now starting to shape in his sanctum, a structure that has become even more central as a gateway tech structure. It really is analogous to a Protoss cybercore now. It was before, but even more so now. You can see Jotak is adding in the new small-sized uploader. Viceroy starting up a conduit that builds charges for echoes and fuses. What's really neat is that after you build a sanctum, you can now build an Empyrean. You can unlock Harbingers right off the bat. The theme of the recent Keiron changes is less powerful in the early game, but more flexible. Oh, that uploader is gonna start the research on calibrated engines. That's the Spitfire speed upgrade. Viceroid takes a peek up that ramp, but finds it guarded. He pulls his volt back. He's got 2 more coming up to join it. Conduit completes, but remember, he's gotta build a charge before he can do anything with it. Jotak's got double manufacturers. He's cranking out Spitfires 2 at a time now. If you zoom in, when the Spitfire pops out of the manufacturer, you can see it has a little sticker on it that says made in the USA. Everybody's parked right outside the vision of their opponent. Oh, Viceroy's researching dissonance projector. I've never seen anybody do that fast before. That's the upgrade where the Echo gets cloak when it's in Discord mode. This is new. Nobody does this out of the gate. Viceroy has something planned for this tournament. I thought he was making fuses to give shields to his units, but that's not it. Oh, ramp challenge here. That's not gonna work. He's outgunned. Jotak gonna punish him for it. There's a yellow splat death by 3-wheeler. A death which was a first blood, by the way. Viceroy's gonna have his fuse link up with the 2 volts that were retreating. That is a whole lot of shields on a single volt right there. An extra 150. And he gets to be all glowy because his friends gassed him up. Pulsar links up as well. Viceroy's getting serious about taking that ramp. Fuse pops out. Oh, he wants to put it in something beefier. But there's a bit of a cooldown. He can't transfer it right away. In it goes. It's in the pulsar. Oh, they're going after the ACR, but that means the Spitfires are going to hit him from behind. Viceroy's going to get cornered a little bit here. His forces get split and they wind up weaker for it. The pulsar's left fighting alone there. Only the fuse keeping it alive. Echo goes disco ball. Jotak doesn't have anything that can shoot up or detect. But that radius is just a slow effect. It's not doing a whole lot to the Genetron right now. Jotak looking to counter. He ignores the volt and blows right by it. Okay, here we go. Viceroy putting the disco right on the entire mineral line. 17 workers at the natural all get slowed down. Jotak knows exactly what to do. He puts a turret down right in the center of his mineral line. The Echo can't stop it from building. It's gonna detect and fire. And Umbra shows up to anchor the Keiron defense. There's an Energize from that Citadel, which is helping out as well. Jotak pulls back, losing a couple Spitfires in the process. And his processing drone. Interdictor finishes that. Echo's gotta get out of there. He goes to the main. There's a turret there already. It is a dead Echo. My friends, it is official. Disco is dead. And the harass is over for both players. But Jotak comes out ahead with a worker lead of 10. He's also got the bigger army. Viceroy's trying to play catch up. He's gonna add an extra Sanctum. And he's going back on the offensive here. He's bringing back a transfused subjector. Or he was. He's thought better of it. He's gonna take a third instead. He's actually double expanding. He's taking a fourth as well. Jotak has a fabricator up with 3 uploaders on it. He's using that to crank out Teslas. He's already got one. Already loaded with that shock charge. He's gone full Elon. I love how active Jotak is with his processing drones. He just keeps them scouting around the whole game. And guess what he's gonna learn? He's gonna see a double expansion going on. And that is probably gonna trigger the universal sign for attack me now. Viceroy is not gone for any turrets. His only anti-air was his subjectors, and they were pushing out. They've come back now, but Jotak got the scout he needed. He may well put it together that he's sitting on the advantage of a much larger army. Oh, Atrium going up for Viceroy. That used to always mean myriads, but nowadays we're seeing a lot of inducers. Subjector range getting researched as well. Amplified Sphere it is called. Handy for knocking processing drones out of the sky. But what he really needs right now is beefy units in case he gets pressured. He's actually making double Atrium, so he's got plans. Jotak appears to be planning Spitfire run-bys on both sides of the map. Jotak seems to be saying, I'm okay with double expansion, just gives me twice the surface area to hit, twice as many places for you to defend. Oh, and Viceroy's pushing out with his army. The processing drone's gonna see that. The drone is gonna die, but that's gonna tell Jotak he's got the green light. It does! The good news is there's not a lot of workers at the lateral third. Oh, great energized by Viceroy on his triangular third while he tries to buy some time to shape in some defenders. But Jotak just slides into the natural. Viceroy has to make a nasty decision. He abandons his triangular third, his fourth. He's pulling back all the way to his main to catch those Spitfires. It is a Champagne Supernova. The all-purpose Spitfire. Can anything stop them? Viceroy can. He's gonna clean this up, but it's taken his entire army. This duo-pronged attack has really done its damage here. Just want to point out those Umbrae are not getting their bonus damage against those Spitfires. Spitfires may look like they're armored, because they are mechanical, but they are light. Oh, Jotak starts up a new interdictor under that Echo. Viceroy sees that he's been evicted. He gets out of there. Oh my god, are the Spitfires gonna get the third too? Viceroy says no, he's coming down to clean this up. All 3 of his subjectors have transfuses in them. That's a really nice combo. Viceroy is obviously a very creative and clever player. He just might not have the multitasking to deal with Jotak's capabilities. He just slipped 2 more Spitfires into the natural. As Steve Rogers would say, I can do this all day. This is just cheap minerals for Jotak. Oh, Viceroy's gonna try to fend them off with his converters. Vengeance! Vengeance for our brothers! Viceroy makes an Aurora, but bad luck, it finds that interdictor. That's the last matchup he wanted. If he only knew that there were quadruple Teslas waiting for him to kill them. Oh, but instead they get their shots off. Look at that electric field. Viceroy has to pull his army back. Viceroy really feels like he has to put on pressure here. Otherwise, he's just gonna get eaten alive by run-bys. He relocates to the triangular third. Jotak is there. He orders triple pulsars to help him defend. Tesla charges arcing through the sky. They are just terrific battlefield control. That Myriad's gonna get pinned up against the wall here. He needs to get out of there. That's the unit that could really use the transfuse. Oh, it's gone. Ooh, fuse or no fuse. Viceroy's just gonna get mopped up here. Those blitzers can shoot up. They can deal with that Aurora. Viceroy is not gonna flee. That means he's gonna die. Meanwhile, Jotak is making Hornets. It's been a bit of a running gag in the games I've been watching. Hornets have been fulfilling a function like the fat lady sings. I only seem to see them when Genetron has the game well in hand. So they always look like such a good luck symbol. I never seem to see Genetron players make them in a game where they lose, but they don't ever seem to play such a big role in the win. Oh, there's no reaction. It's a converter massacre. Okay, the Myriad can deal with this. He's got extra damage against light with those Elytra. But unfortunately, it comes 11 workers too late. Jotak now has way more than double the workers of Viceroy, and it's really showing in the income differential. Unless he's got something really clever to turn this around, I think Viceroy needs to start thinking about the next game. Yikes, that is too much yellow. Oh, Jotak's actually up to 7 Hornets at this point. Oh, and he's gonna harass with them. If I'm not mistaken, Viceroy still doesn't have any turrets. In his defense, he's been busy making units to survive. But this is just grade A recognition by Jotak. There is just no defense here, and I think those Hornets can actually focus down anything he tries to shape in. I hate to say checkmate, but that might be it. Viceroy is elected to charge. That's the only thing left he can do. He abandons his main. Oh, but his army got cleaned up before I could even pan over to it. He writes, okay, I'm done, but that's not a GG. Oh, there it is, there it is. Pro tip, guys, until you see that GG or your opponent leaves the game, you keep going. I know that's not what Viceroy was doing here, but you occasionally get these jokers who pretend they're quitting the game, and yet they are still playing. Until you get the GG, the foot does not come off the gas. Jotak knows it. This tournament is too small and friendly for any kind of shenanigans like that, though. I'm certain that Viceroy was legit expressing his legit exhaustion at having to go 5 rounds against Jotak. But it's a best of 3, so he's got to do it again. But let me give him props one more time for going for what I'll call a Discord rush. That is absolutely the fastest I've ever seen that done. At some point, we'll have to see the math on how much economic damage that actually does. But for now, let's just head on over to Game 2. Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
Viceroy put up a good fight, but he is now poised for elimination. Not unlike most people who have the misfortune of going up against Jotak. And the new look Genetron obviously hasn't made him any less scary. Conversely, as you may have heard, the Keiron got depowered in the latest patch. Specifically, the charges have slowed down, and that reduces the Keiron's ability to make an instant army with so few structures. As somebody said to me recently, the Keiron are a little bit less Keiron-y. Speak of the devil, Viceroy starts off with an edifice. That's 25 minerals cheaper now. Jotak setting out a pair of ACRs. I thought he was scouting, but it looks like he's gonna build in his natural. Oh, he's accumulating minerals. He's going for a greedy fast expand here. I actually don't think I've seen a Genetron player do this before. He's delaying his manufacturer. I mean, look at this. The edifice is already more than halfway done, and the manufacturer hasn't even started yet. But if he gets away with this, he's gonna have himself a very nice economic boost. And what I like is he set off a scout, so if this was a tragic mistake, he'll get some advance warning. This is almost a little bit of a meta play, because we've seen that Keiron has become less aggressive in the early game with the recent nerfs. This kind of conforms to my narrative that Jotak is just evil. Us caster types always see what we want to see. Sanctum goes down, and now Jotak puts down the manufacturer and the outfitting station. Remember, you need both of those now to make a turret, and I'm thinking Jotak's thinking he wants a defensive turret. Jotak's scout is in the main, and he's going to be happy to see there's no Volts or Pariahs. That's what you want to see, your opponent being greedy, but less greedy than you. Oh, I am wrong. He is not making repulsors for defense. This could be the cannon rush. Now that Genetron can build like Protoss, they can cheese like them too. No, I'm wrong. Totally wrong. Or he changed his mind. I totally thought he was going to build repulsors in that back corner. Instead, the Volt is out, and he could wind up being a First Blood instead. Jotak's got a bunch of money saved up. I totally thought he was going to put down repulsors. That ACR is trying to hide, but I think that Pariah spotted him. Oh yeah, he's dead. That's a First Blood for the Keiron. And the money gets spent on triple repulsors guarding the natural. That was my first prediction, so does that mean I was wrong twice or I was right all along? I guess that depends how charitable you're feeling. Oh, double outlets going down for Keiron. Looks like it's gonna be Auroras. Doesn't matter how many times that poor unit gets nerfed, it's still awesome. Watch Viceroy fool me and go for apertures. Double apertures. The 3D printing on the repulsors is done. The new burrow unburrow is now auto-cast. Jotak was one of the very few Genetron players who actually used the repulsor like a supply depot. He used to use it as the door in his wall. But now that its utility as a door is even better, he seems to have stopped using it. He no longer walls off with his buildings like a Terran. His strategy is evolving, or he's just experimenting with different builds, who can say? But I thought we would see the Genetron players build a lot more Terran-like walls. And you don't have to worry about raising and lowering your depots, it does it for you automatically. Genetron's now like the lazy man's Terran. Alright, so Viceroid's gonna expand. He's down on income and has some catching up to do. It's kind of funny, neither side actually has an army right now. They're both investing in static defense. Both of them are pretty much compensating for the fact that they don't have armies. Alright, the double outlet malls are done. It's time to get some 1980s Valley girls, and by that I mean Auroras. Hold it, that's not what's happening. He's making an Empyrean instead. Does Viceroy know that you can build that right after a Sanctum now? You don't have to make an outlet first anymore. I'm sure he does know, because he figured out how quickly you could build a conduit last game. As you can tell, the prerequisites for Keiron Air have all been lowered. Keiron can push out its air units really quickly now. It's something the other races really have to be on guard for now. And it's fair to say that Jotak is, because he's got his fabricator done and he's getting himself a torrent. Highly specialized anti-air. He's also got that initial processing drone out now. We've already seen how active Jotak is with scouting with his processing drone. Viceroy getting the shield upgrade. That applies to every single Keiron unit. I often wonder why we don't see that as the first upgrade of choice more often. Viceroy's got a pair of Auroras out and he is looking to harass the main. Just like two Banshees working in tandem, the Auroras can one-shot a worker when they work together. Jotak marshals his torrent. There's that worker pull. Good recognition by Viceroy. He's gonna try to focus down that torrent. Oh, he peels off the injured Aurora and he's gonna be able to clear out the defense. No, Jotak rallies some blitzers. That's gonna be enough to chase those Auroras off. Only 3 dead workers. I thought that was a lot worse. Jotak maintains the worker lead. I guess that's one of the reasons why you want to have your double Auroras shooting the same target together. Oh, there's supercharges on those blitzers. Those Auroras have to be careful. Viceroy knows it. He drops a couple emanators and he gets out of there. He has managed to keep his original Auroras alive, and he has been making more. Oh, and he's not done. He's circling around towards that natural. There's an interdictor in that mineral line, though. Oh, he's got an angle. He's going to be able to shoot out of range. Jotak's got to mobilize that anti-air defense. He's got another torrent. He's also building an Avenger. That's an air-to-air strike unit, and it's going to defend the main from the other Auroras that Viceroy has sent in to attack the main. The Auroras can do nothing against that, and they have to flee. It looks like Viceroy is pulling back all of his Auroras. Oh, I love how he drops emanators as he retreats. It causes the pursuing unit to stop and attack the emanator. That's just a clever piece of micro. Meanwhile, Jotak's processing drone is pulling off a complete scout here. There's no anti-air to stop him. And so the current tally is our players are even on supply and very close on income. Who will be the first to take a third base? That's a foundry going down for the Keiron, and more Avengers coming out for Jotak. That's definitely the anti-Aurora unit he wants, but Viceroy is transitioning. He's stopped making them. Jotak actually could be at a bit of a risk of overmaking them at this point. Oh, hello, that's a Zenith going down. Also a Stratus to protect the mineral line, but that Zenith is going to make charges for a Paragon. The Paragon got a slight nerf to its shields in the recent patch, but it's still a killer unit. Oh, Viceroy pushing out. He's linked up his Auroras, but he's got to watch out for those Avengers, which conveniently are on the wrong side of the map. He's going to see that with his Subjector before it gets wiped out. But is he going to counterattack or is he going to double back to defend? Because it looks like Jotak's going to be in a position to hit first. Yeah, he's pulling back and he's just going to float right into those Avengers. Oh, I like this for Genetron. I want to see Jotak use that Vengeance Missile, but he doesn't have it researched yet. Oh, this is brutal. Those Auroras are just giving those Avengers something to shoot at. I mean, they've helped cleaned up the attack, and that's important, but boy, is it going to cost him some of his best units. Maybe the Volts on the ground can try to save them, but it doesn't look like it. I think Jotak pushed out to try to stop the Keiron third base, but he's going to get a different prize. He's going to completely reset the Aurora count. Oh, look at this. A Harbinger comes in and saves the day. Also, there's a suspicious lone converter on the bottom of the map there. We'll have to see what Viceroy's got planned for that. Wow, the hunter has become the hunted. Viceroy's like, yeah, I've got air-to-air fighters as well. Jotak trying to keep his last Avenger alive. But Viceroy has something against Marvel superhero teams. Oh, he's gonna try to corner it. He is getting the surround like Zerglings. Hitting it on all sides. That Avenger is toast. I just hope it wasn't Captain America. Okay, what is up with that rogue converter? Oh, there's actually 2 of them. Oh, it's an offensive nullifier build in plain sight. You don't get to see that every day. Or maybe he wants to suck all the defense to the bottom right and then he'll attack from the left? I don't know, that natural is pretty guarded. Jotak's gonna transfer his defense to the right and rely on his static defense to hold his natural. Oh yeah, he shuts that nullifier right down. But is he cornered now? I guess kind of, but he's got a ton of stuff to hold. While this dance is going on, Viceroy's gonna take his 4th behind it. Oh, the Harbinger goes into judgment mode. That gives him an air splash attack at the expense of mobility. But his opponent wasn't exactly clumped up there. But still cool, we don't get to see that nearly enough. There's that 4th base coming up. But even cooler, somebody's making an Aegis. It's official, Viceroy is a really fun player to watch. And that is a Paragon shaping in. A capital ship is out. Oh, Jotak totally heard me. You want a wall? Fine, I'll give you a wall. Thank you, Jotak. Was that so hard? That's gonna give Jotak a much needed boost in supply. It also means that processing core is gonna get an insane amount of energy. A nullifier to guard the 4th. The reliquary's upgrading mechanical weapons. Oh, I just love staring at that sexy Paragon. Just look at that thing. Oh, Jotak's cranking out Spitfires with his elevated supply. And he's getting calibrated engines, the speed upgrade to go with it, and more Avengers. Jotak's got 3 uploaders pointed to that assembly array. Remember, uploaders reduce production time, so he is cranking those puppies out. Okay, we've reached the phase where everyone goes nuts with tech. Double atriums. That's gonna unlock myriads and inducers. That's the calibrated engine upgrade going on there. But check this out. It's almost time to see that Aegis pop. This is how you make an entrance, people. Don't just arrive late, do this. So, Viceroy's really got the tech, but he is way down on army at this point. And I'm not entirely sure why, because it's 4 bases to 3. Oh, as soon as I say that, Jotak decides to prove me wrong. He starts his 4th. Viceroy's kind of gambling here. Instead of making units, he's just making more production facilities. He's about to have great unit making capability, but if he gets attacked in the near future, he could be in trouble. As cool as that Paragon is, he could use a couple cousins. Oh, and here comes one now. Let's call him Cousin Ed. I guess the other thing that bears mention here is that thus far, Jotak has forsaken the numeric upgrades. Viceroy has that +1/+1 advantage and he's working on making it +2/+2. But if I had to choose between upgrade advantage and having double the army size of my opponent, I'd probably go with the army size. Oh, Jotak has gone Elon Musk. He's got the Teslas. And they are loaded with the shock charges. I actually watched a game by our very own GFG recently where he used the Tesla with the cloak charge to great effect. I really enjoyed that. I think at some point in the future we'll be able to see players that can actually rock both the charges, shock and cloak, and really use that to mess with their opponents. I think Jotak does not appreciate how far ahead he is here. And that is preventing him from leveraging his oversized army. Oh, he's scouting now. He's gonna find out the truth pretty quick here. He just made double processing drones and he sent them out. As long as they comply with all federal aviation guidelines. I don't want them interfering with the flight path of my 747. Jotak sees his opponent's army. Did he see enough to know that it's actually kind of small? Oh, but it's got inducers now. That's getting pretty sexy in terms of tech. His Auroras are pushing out. Is Viceroy actually going to be the aggressor? If it's just harass, that makes more sense to me. We're going to answer the ancient question. When a processing node in the middle of nowhere goes into lockdown, does it make a sound? I think the answer to this lifelong Zen question is no. Jotak is not reacting or he's deliberately sacking it. Those Auroras are in a ton of trouble. That death ball's got a ton of Avengers and Torrents in it. Yeah, you better turn left. Oh, he gets spotted. Cutting into the main doesn't save him from the Avengers though. An Aurora is not an Avenger. An Aurora is an Alpha Flight. 10 points if anybody actually got that comic book reference. Oh my god, I just realized that processing node that was destroyed actually supply blocked Jotak. Okay, Viceroy may have lost his Auroras, but he learned that his opponent has a much bigger army than him, so he pulls back. He's gotta get to shaping some units. There's gotta be some kind of Ed Sheeran Shape of You Keiron line here somewhere, but I'm just not able to formulate it. Oh yeah, Jotak's figured out he's in a good spot too. Or he's just thinking one way to deal with the supply block is to trade units with your opponent. You both take damage, but ta-da, you're not supply blocked anymore. Viceroy drops 5 Edises to try to catch up on supply here. But it's not structures he needs, it's units. Because this battle is on. Oh, Emissary Orb in the center of that death ball. Boom! Oh! Jotak loses 20 supply in a heartbeat. He drops Tesla charges to cover his retreat. That was a huge orb hit. It single-handedly saved Viceroy. Jotak can see those edifices shaping in. He's gonna do something about it. Oh, nice. He's gonna drop more Tesla charges to cut off the Keiron. Viceroy's gonna move through it anyway. Oh, he's just gonna take so much damage. Who's got this? Both players massively depleted at this point. Oh, Jotak is making boars. That's an air-to-air attack unit we almost never get to see. This is how he intends to deal with the Paragons. Oh, Force Field goes up to deal with the shock charges. He actually teleported the Aegis over to his third base to do that. With 40 seconds on that shield, it's gonna outlast those charges for sure. So one of the results of this escapade is that Viceroy got his edifice farm up. Ever since that Emissary Orb hit, he's been up on supply, and he is now looking to take the battle to Jotak. Those inducers are definitely giving him the range. There's just not a lot of ground support to protect them at the moment. But I think they can handle this undefended fourth base here. Jotak's still making boars. He's got to be stashing them somewhere. Okay, I was expecting more of a Voltapalooza, but here they come. There's the boars. These things charge in a straight line and they sort of destroy everything in its path. As long as you're air, their ground attack is pretty weak. And Viceroy's air is split off. This could be the moment. The boars go at the Harbingers. Oh, but the Harbingers go into judgment mode. And the Paragons are backing them up. The boars are getting roasted. Oh yeah, somebody should put an apple in their mouth and put them on a spit. Meanwhile, the Volts are attacking on the left flank here. And in the center. Jotak has a ton of supply room now, so I don't think he'll miss a note or two here. But he's gonna clean it up anyway. But does that mean his third base on the right is gonna be forfeit? Because there's inducers on his right side. Also Paragons, I guess they're worth mentioning. Jotak's doubling back. Can he save his processing core? It goes into lockdown, gains the armor. Jotak decides to sack it. Viceroy takes the kill and pulls out of there. Though he does leave his pulsars behind. You know that never leave a man behind thing? Read the fine print. It does not apply to pulsars, guys. I know, it's discriminatory, but I don't make the rules. Oh, I thought it was gonna be a Voltapalooza, but it's actually a Pariah-palooza. Viceroy's got a huge mineral bank, so it makes sense for him to keep shaping in those mineral-only units. When you're stuck waiting on gas, it's almost like Volts and Pariahs are free. Oh, a squad of Auroras trying to prevent the rebuild here. The core is gonna finish, but it's immediately gonna become under fire. Avengers assemble! They'd much rather be dealing with Auroras than those Paragons. The Paragons are backed by the Inducers. Oh, here come the Pariahs. I don't know that there's enough of them to turn the tide of that battle. But there's a second group of them flanking here. One Paragon falls. Is there another Emissary Orb available? Jotak gets on top of the Inducers. He's killing them off. The upgrade advantage is really having an effect here. That Paragon just refuses to die. Oh, there we go. He finally asked him nicely. But Viceroy is reinforcing another round of Inducers and an additional Paragon. Jotak is taking hits on all sides here. Inducers are just throwing their trash around. And it's GG! Viceroy does the unthinkable, ties the series up, and does it in style. Cause you know what I want to show you in slow-mo. Where is that sick Emissary Orb hit? Here we go, 1/4 speed. It's actually 2 orb hits, but it's the first one that's really spectacular. It's a little bit hard to see because one of the Harbingers is shooting off in judgment mode. We're at 167 supply, and then we're at 147. And everything else in the death ball that survived is now in the yellow. Now we're gonna give the Herald energy cannons and the Harbingers a little credit because they clear out the Avengers, but that is largely the work of Emissary Orbs. Which got nerfed, by the way, and now costs 125 energy to cast one of these. And that stops a Paragon from getting more than 1 orb off in a single fight. Now, just one other thing that I want to get off my chest because I didn't get a chance to talk about it in the cast is the Genetron space issue, and I just want to touch on that real quick. You may have noticed that uploaders are now smaller in footprint size. 1x1 square units instead of 2x2. This makes a pretty big difference, particularly on maps with small main bases. One of the issues that the Genetron have always had is that their main base fills up with production facilities very quickly. They have some huge sized buildings, and then they need all these uploaders as well, plus all the processing nodes. It's kind of like my apartment. Where do you put everything? Well, the solution was to shrink a few buildings down, specifically the uploaders. Now, here's where I get shot by the Genetron community. I actually kind of like that the Genetron always ran out of space. To me, oversized buildings was part of the flavor of the race, this race of artificial intelligence that really didn't care about their environment or nebulous concepts like using up space. They just kept expanding and building outwards like some unfeeling Borg race. But from the perspective of a player trying to grapple with genuine competitive gameplay, this is a pretty welcome change, as a minor hassle has certainly been removed. What I'm hoping is that the giant fabricator and the giant assembly array won't get shrunk as well, because I think the massive size of those production facilities is unique, and it gives the Genetron some character. Anywho, enough of me waxing on. We've got a tiebreaker to enjoy here. What do these players have in store? Can Visceroid take down the titan they call Jotak? Adjutant, if you would please.
The game begins now.
All right, we're even Steven and we're determined to settle this. And as so often happens, we're gonna settle it on the bottom of the ocean floor, on the map 2000 atmospheres. But hold the phone, something's not right here. Visceroid is playing Terran. Under the rules, players are only entitled to go to their default race when they lose a map, or on map 1 if you have the lower MMR. But unless I'm crazy, Visceroid won the last game. So either the players are making a mistake here, or I'm actually casting the games out of order. All right, but for now, who cares? Let's enjoy the game. I'll try to figure it out later. The point is, we're gonna get a rare GVT, which is kind of cool to see, especially since the Genetron is feeling a lot less like a Terran clone now. Perhaps the apprentice has become the master. Terran's walling off his mane like a classical Terran. And hey, maybe this game I'll actually remember to do the player intros. Now, I know you Joes want to stick things to your walls, but don't use Joe Nails or Joe Pins. Use Jotak! No greedy expand for Jotak this time. He's gone right for his manufacturer. He's also playing it safe and sending that scout. Hey guys, what do you call it when Kamala Harris takes anabolics? Viceroy! Jotak's scout's gonna find himself just a bit too late to get inside. The ACR is trying to pose as a girl guide selling cookies, but Viceroid's not buying it. In response, he expands to his natural. Oh, depot wall's lowered, but that's just to let the SCVs back inside. Jotak's like, yeah? Well, my depots shoot. How about that? All right, opening units on the way. Spitfire for Genetron, Marine for Terran. Orbital is on order as Viceroid goes for a second Rax and starts up a factory. You can do all that when you're one basin, so we are likely to see Jotak with the econ advantage early on. That's going to put a little pressure on Viceroy to do some early damage. He may have the tools to do just that. Jotak's going to bring his scout back and see. Still no expansion. It would make me worried about cloaked banshees, but that is not at all what's going on here. Marine's coming out to try to chase down that ACR. Jotak gets himself an outfitting station. My first thought was maybe he wants to get a numeric upgrade this game, but I think he's really doing this to be safe and get himself a defensive turret. He's getting Spitfires, but he's gotta be worried that his opponent could hit him with some kind of tech. And indeed, Viceroid actually has 2 tech labs out there, one of which he's using to build Marauders. The second one of which is gonna get donated to that factory. Viceroid is gonna be tank capable. Maybe it'll be awesome and build a fast Thor. One thing's for sure, he's still one basing. We could be looking at a quick game here. Jotak getting to work on his fabricator. No uploaders just yet, but he's now in a position to saturate that natural and start that econ advantage. He is adding that repulsor turret to try to guard that choke. Is he actually pushing out, or no, he's just taking a different position? It is a tank for Viceroid, and he's also researching concussive shells. Viceroid is building up a real punch here. But he's gonna need to swing with it sooner than later, or Viceroy's just gonna have too much money. Oh, Viceroy's gonna expand anyway. Oh, if he winds up sitting on his high-tech army, that's gonna cost him long term. Jotak decides he needs that scout processing drone to the rescue. But in the meantime, he is gonna make that defensive torrent. Not a defensive turret, but a torrent, the anti-air unit. Because I think he's worried about Banshees. I know I would be. But instead, he's gonna see a tank and a Marauder and be like, what? And Viceroy is moving out. He's just building his natural behind it. Jotak's got 2 repulsors backing up his Spitfires. Is that gonna be enough to hold here? That torrent is not gonna be terribly useful. Now the Genetron repulsor turret did get a bit of a debuff. That was probably in response to concerns about potential cannon rush style Genetron. Oh, triple repulsors on the manufacturer. That's gonna let it crank units out. But Jotak is out of time. Viceroy is knocking at his door. The processing drone's gonna get the scout on that. Is he gonna walk into buried turrets though and not see them? No, he sets up the tank. He spots the shadow on the ground. It's a lot easier to see than a mine. He drops a scan to smash the repulsors. Oh, but his tank is positioned just a bit too close. Jotak focuses the tank down. He's gonna be able to hold. Looks like a bit of a misstep for Viceroy. He just got a little bit too close. Oh, there's his comment. He wasn't expecting that kind of range out of the turret. True dat, we're all learning. Oh, he's got follow-up with Widowmine. He's actually gonna get away with burrowing it. That could do some good splash damage here. Jotak asks the question, what exactly is the range on the repulsor? Is it greater than a cannon? Jotak uses his processing drone as a detector, and then he pulled his turret off so that the rest of his army wouldn't take any splash. That was some pretty slick level micro there. Back at the Terran Ranch, Viceroy is making a Liberator. He's not done. But Jotak going to work on an assembly array. He's getting in on the air units as well. Jotak, of course, is notorious for killing armies with Jupiters. Viceroy starts up the all-important stim pack, and he's rebuilding his Marauder count, getting himself a new tank. So what we're seeing with the recent changes to the Jupiter is it's no longer being used to obliterate mineral lines with a napalm blast as it used to be. The workers automatically flee instead of driving through the fire. But you can use it like Storm and just bombard your opponent's death ball. Oh, hold the phone. That medevac is loaded with 3 Marauders and 2 Marines. We've got ourselves some drop play. And it looks like the processing drone is gonna miss it. But here's the neat part. There's a Liberator headed north on the opposite side of the map. It's a classic Terran 2-pronged harass. This sounds like a split screen opportunity here. I'm gonna make a Sophie's choice and predict that the Marauder drop is the one to watch. And then we'll go back and find what the Liberator does in post. It'll either look totally awesome or really dumb. Alright, here we go. Medevac on boost. Liberator skipping the third. It's got a route plan for the natural. There are no turrets in the main. How fast does Jotak react? The medevac ran out of boost. Jotak spots that slowed medevac very quickly. He gets the worker pull, and the Marauders are left going to work on a gas geyser. Jotak building double blitzers to respond, and the Spitfires come up the ramp. The gas geyser goes into lockdown, but the Marauders are in combat and unable to finish the job. Jotak sends back his workers, and Viceroy needs to pick up. Oh, he heard me. He does pick up. He flies away, saving 2 Marauders, and it looks like now Stim's gonna finish. And Jotak repairs the filtering plant, which came so close to being destroyed. So Viceroy manages to kill 7 workers and takes a very slight worker lead, which he needs because it's 3 bases to 2. Though Viceroy's showing signs of catching up because he's built a 3rd orbital. It's just currently stashed at his natural. And so as the dust settles, we've once again got ourselves a rather close game. Jotak's got his Teslas up and running. They were absolutely terrific for him in game 2, but they did not get him the W. Double armory upgrades for vehicle weapons and armor underway. And a huge mule hammer at the natural. Who needs a 3rd when you've got 3 orbitals? Very similar to game 2, Jotak is sitting on a larger army but may not yet be aware of it. But as usual, he's ahead of me and he sent out his processing drones to try to find that out. Jotak is teaching us that Genetron's gotta be active with those drones. They don't have Comstat, they don't have emanators. You gotta get your vision the old-fashioned way. You gotta go look. Genetron, get in a Batmobile. Jotak. Processing drone's gonna catch that orbital, taking that 3rd. Is that intel gonna encourage Jotak to move out and try to shut it down? Resources lost tab shows neither player's really lost very much at this point. Viceroy hasn't lost a worker. Jotak's lost 8, but he's still got the worker lead. His macro's just that on point. Oh, but look at this. Those Teslas still have their winter tires on. Don't neglect your tire maintenance, people. You gotta rotate them, otherwise the tread wears off. Oh, it's drop 2.0 here. Same two Marauders and Medevac, but with 4 fresh Marines going after that third. But there's an interdictor there. That Medevac's in trouble. Oh, he gets away. The Medevac does manage to unload 3 Marines, but they just get bulldozed. Look what that Inciter does to Marines. The drop continues to the natural, but the Teslas are there. Still, the Marauders are pretty mobile. They get themselves in a good spot. And that's gonna leave the cleanup duty to the Batmobile. The Inciter's better at butchering Marines, but yeah, it can handle some injured Marauders. And once again, our players are pretty close to being even on workers. But Viceroy is way behind on supply. Even though he's got himself a Thor. You didn't think you were gonna see any Thors in a Scion Races tournament, did you? Do you think mule drop pods are recyclable? I mean, they look like they're biodegradable, but I'm not so sure. I think I'll raise this with a Dominion and then I'll get back to you guys. We'll call that one of my action items for tonight. Viceroy's got a bunker guarding his third and he's trying to get up a fourth. But if Jotak comes in force right now, it is not gonna be adequate defense. And look who is coming with triple Jupiters. But the joke is kind of on Jotak and his Jupiters. Viceroy doesn't really have a death ball he can bomb. Viceroy's grabbing upgrades, but he really needs units right now. Perhaps some SCVs to repair that bunker, because it's not gonna hold up to this very long. Viceroy's smarter than I am. He's gonna pull his workers and get out of there. But he's gotta go through a Tesla charge to do it. It's official, Viceroy is sacking his third. I just love how Jotak uses his Tesla charges for battlefield control. He doesn't shoot them at his target, he shoots them at lanes to block his opponent out. In this case, he locked down that third. Okay, then here he goes and does the opposite. He throws them right at his opponent's forces. Incoming Jupiter strike. The Vikings gun down 1 Jupiter, but they're not going to be much help against the land forces that are flowing in at this point. Viceroy retreats to his main. Can he hold the onslaught? He's making double Thors. If he can get those to pop out right now, because Jotak is right in his grill. Yes, the Genetron is right up in the Terran's business. And it is not looking good. Tesla charges just firing off at random buildings. Yes, structures take damage and no, they can't move out of the way. Thor is here! But they have to march through a slew of Tesla charges before they can get the cleanup. But it's a price Viceroy is willing to pay in order to try to stabilize. There's a couple of really annoying charges still going off in his natural. Elon Musk is calling. Will you accept the charges? So at this point, Jotak's income is about 5 times that of Viceroy. That is not where he wants to be. Viceroy has no choice but to get his third down and fire off every mule he has. And when you have that crazy amount of minerals coming in, what do? You make 5 manufacturers apparently. Spitfire run-bys for days. His opponent is badly wounded, but he's got to be careful. One big mistake and he'll let the Terran back into this. Viceroy finishes 2-2. He's gonna have the upgrade lead again. Jotak has not been a very big believer on numeric upgrades in this series. Oh, those poor Thors. How are they supposed to pull this off? They've got help in the form of Hellbats. Hellbat transformation. Is there more than meets the eye, or are they speed bumps? Analyze weakness goes off, as does the napalm strike. And Lando Calrissian chimes in to say this is the shortest offensive of all time. All of a sudden, Viceroy has no army. 6 Marines and a Hellion, that's all he's got. And I'm pretty sure at least 5 of those Marines are smart enough to call in sick. A death march sounds as the Batmobiles lead the charge. There's the mass mules trying to bring in some money. His factories are cranking out another Thor and Hellbats. It's a smart way to leverage his upgrade advantage. Oh no, here come the late game Hornets. This really is the Genetron equivalent of saying the fat lady sings. The Hornets are like the ultimate mop-up crew. Maybe the Thor can get a nice splash shot off here, but I think this series is just an A move away from ending. Oh, quadruple Jupiter. It is literally a scorched earth policy. And it looks like switching to his backup race does not help Viceroy. There's the GG. A solid series, but Jotak demonstrates why he and the Genetron remain supreme. You know, I'm starting to feel guilty that we don't have a Genetron victory graphic to end games with. I think that's gotta be on the to-do list. Right after I get the summer tires on the Teslas, of course. Anywho, I'm a little bit concerned that I've got the games out of order in this series, but it actually played out as a pretty nice set just like this. Props to Viceroy for putting up a great fight. In this last game, if his tank push had been set up in the right spot, his push would have done a lot more damage and been far more difficult to deal with. And Viceroy may have been set up much better, possibly even for an eventual win. I mean, it would have been a different game, that's for sure. Once again, inches matter. Now, in case you were wondering, what does a buried repulsor look like from Viceroy's perspective, I want to show you that. It's a lot easier to spot than a Widow Mine, but if you're not looking, you can still miss it. So don't get caught unawares by any happy faces there, people. I'm gonna name this guy Crater Face. Maybe Crater Face can become a thing, I don't know, we'll see. There is, though, just one final thing to mention before you all run off on me. Just in case you've been under an RTS rock, Frost Giant Games has now released more info about their real-time strategy game to the bated breath of hungry, starved fans. It's a game which is going to be called Stormgate. This news has been reported ad nauseum over the last few days by those far more tapped in than I, so I will just say the single most important piece of news is that the beta will be released for play sometime in 2023. I'll take it. 2023 is better than 2025. And frankly, 2022 would make me worried that it was being rushed. Anyways, we can always do a separate video on Stormgate if people are interested, but you've probably all watched the trailer and seen the news by now anyways. That's it. Let me just say, from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your Starcraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your Starcraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang Starcraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.